Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Taruvesha Kripa Sindhu Vya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnamebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram. Hare Krishna. So we were discussing about the three modes of material nature. Anyone remembers what we were discussing? Yes.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
Yeah, we were discussing the three modes: goodness, passion, and
Goodness.
ignorance.
Yeah, the three modes.
Each object in this universe give out some vibe, some mode. But every living entity has capability to accept and what to say, to transfer or to generate and receive both.
Yeah.
But
So
all the objects have they only generate the modes.
Yeah. So that's what we were discussing. We were discussing about the three modes of material nature, right? And we were discussing how there are different objects of this world, and every object is a transmitter. It transmits S, R, T, Sattva, Raja and Tama. Some percentage of Sattva, some percentage of Raja, some percentage of Tama, right? And then there are not just object, there are living beings. Okay? Now living beings, the difference is they are transmitters also and they can also receive. They are receivers. So they also have an SRT and they map with the SRT of the objects. Let's say the S10, R20 and T70. This is one human being's composition. So it will receive those transmissions from those objects which have this SRT in common, right? Which have these type of, which are sending those vibrations. That's how we find some living beings are very much attached to mode of goodness lifestyle. They will get up early in the morning. And some living beings, they are very much attached to sleep at the same time when others are waking up. Like when I was in IIT, my room light, this tube light, it used to get spoiled again and again. So the warden complained, why your tube light only is getting spoiled again and again. So I said to the that office manager, look, my light never is off, because what happens is I sleep at 9 o'clock and get up at 3 o'clock, and my room partner sleeps at 4 o'clock and gets up at 9 o'clock. So throughout the day, the light is throughout the night. So it is the most, it is being used to maximum extent. And my room in IIT, I saw a peculiar thing that the boys would be attached to sleeping at 5 o'clock in the morning. The time when I'll get up, 3 o'clock, they will be, that will be like they are just about to take rest. You know, they will be taking their dinner at 3 o'clock in the morning, and at 5 o'clock they will sleep, right? So this is ghor tama. This is pure ignorance. But why they are so attached to this type of lifestyle? Because they are in this. You are understanding? You will be attached to a particular lifestyle based on what you are, right? So there are objects and there are living beings, right? So now the question is, we have seen that the soul is always pure. Yes? If the soul is pure, why it is affected by the modes? So this is today's discussion. If the soul is pure, why it is getting affected by the modes? How it can get affected by the three modes? So we will take some verses from Bhagavad Gita, and then we'll continue our discussion. So this is a verse from Bhagavad Gita 7.4, which we have already taken in our basics course, right? So we will recite this verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Bhumi Rapo Analo Vayu. Anyone? One person? Kammano Buddhire Vacha. Ahankara iti yamme. Bhinna prakriti ashtadha. Okay, so we already knew about this verse. This verse says that earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego, all these constitute 8 of my separated energies. If you remember, we discussed about this verse, that there are 8 energies, out of which 5 is gross and 3 are subtle, correct? Okay. So this constitute, the 5 and 3, they constitute the Prakriti. Total current, that sound is coming. They constitute the Prakriti, right? So Krishna is telling that this is my material energy. You see, this is my material energy, Prakriti. So this constitute one Prakriti, that is the objects. If you remember, we are talking about objects of this world. So all the objects of this world are made of this 5 plus 3 items, gross and subtle. Okay. And then Krishna says that beyond this Prakriti, that is these objects of the world, there is also another Prakriti which we will recite now. Next verse. Anyone else? Apareyam itastwanyam. Yeah, anyone else? Prakritim vidhi me param. Jiva bhutam mahabaho. Yaedang dharayat jagat. Apare. Okay. So Krishna is telling, apareyam itastva anyam. Apart from this, there is another prakriti, anyam. Anyam matlab anya, another. Prakriti matlab, you see, there is another prakriti. So Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, there are two prakritis. Okay. Vidhi me param. So this prakriti is param, higher than this prakriti, what I have already told. What Krishna has told already, the previous prakriti. So Krishna has told that there is one prakriti which is made of these 8 elements. And Krishna is telling, so the prakriti which is made of those 8 elements, beyond this prakriti, there is one higher prakriti also. This is anya prakriti. Anya matlab higher. And this is param, matlab higher than the previous one. And what is this prakriti? This prakriti is called jiva prakriti. That is all of us, the atmas. So you see in this verse it is said, jiva bhutam mahabaho. You see the third line? Ya edam dharyate jagat. They are trying to control this jagat. So there is this anya prakriti which is jiva prakriti, and this jiva prakriti what is trying to do? It is trying to control, dharyate, control this prakriti. You are able to understand? Now you are able to understand what Krishna is telling. That's what all of us are trying to do, correct? We are trying to control this world in our different ways. So Krishna is telling that there are two prakritis. One is my prakriti, which is of 8 elements, and there is another of my prakriti, which is the jiva prakriti. And what this jiva prakriti they are doing? They are trying to control this lower prakriti, inferior prakriti. Okay, is this clear? Simple, practical. It's nothing very philosophical, very practical. Krishna is telling there are two prakritis. Okay, we will go ahead and see again. So Krishna is telling there are two prakritis. One, the inferior prakriti, that constitute of the 8 elements. The other, there is the superior prakriti, that constitutes of the jivatmas or jiva bhuta. And what this superior prakriti is trying to do? The superior prakriti is trying to control the inferior prakriti. Okay? Now, the question arises, so if the Jivatma is trying to control the inferior Prakriti, first question is arises is why? Why the Jivatma wants to control? The second, how? And third, in what ways? And fourth, are all Jivatmas like that? Are all Jivatmas trying to control? I think everyone is able to understand what is going on, or it is becoming too technical. Yes, please tell. Everyone is able to understand what is going on. So Krishna is telling there are two Prakriti. Prakriti means what? Prakriti means nature. Prakriti means which comes out of a person. Let's say I say that Bikram has a jovial Prakriti, हंसी मजाक की प्रकृति वाले व्यक्ति. समझ में आ रहा है? प्रकृति का मतलब समझ में आ रहा है आप सबको? Everyone is able to understand Prakriti. Prakriti means for personality. Prakriti means which comes out of a person. So Krishna is telling that from me comes out two things. My Prakriti, two things. One is the inferior Prakriti, and the other one is the superior Prakriti. The superior Prakriti is the Jivatma which is trying to control the inferior Prakriti. Now, how is Jivatma superior to the 8 elements? Can anyone say? Why is Jivatma is called the superior Prakriti? Can anyone guess or tell? जीवात्मा क्यों सुपीरियर प्रकृति है, पर प्रकृति क्यों है?
जीवात्मा can never die.
Okay, Jivatma cannot die, it is eternal. Okay. Anything else? Why Jivatma is called the superior Prakriti than the inferior elements? Why this is inferior? Why my apple pencil is inferior and why I am superior? Why Krishna is telling like that? And this apple pencil is also made with 8 elements. Okay, one by one. Yes, Subhayan and then Syam Narayan.
Because you are able to control the apple.
Okay, we are able to control the apple. Okay, that's fine. But why we are superior? Because we are superior, that's why we are able to control. Na? So I am asking why we are superior. Krishna is telling he is superior, that's why he is controlling. But why is superior? Simple.
Jivatma can make some choices. It has intelligence.
Okay, it has intelligence. Okay. Intelligence is an element which Jivatma is controlling. These 8 elements say intelligence is an element.
Prabhuji, whenever Jivatma is in this inferior Prakriti, then only there is life. Otherwise, it is dead on.
No, it's not the right answer. That's
so
not.
Jivatma is a part of a God.
Jivatma is part of God. The 8 elements are also part of God. Krishna is telling, na? This is also my Prakriti, this is also my Prakriti. Okay.
Jivatma is Ishwar, because elements can be
Okay.
eternal, because Jivatma is eternal.
Elements are also eternal. Yes, Arvindji, you are muted. Unmute. Arvindji, unmute.
Because Jivatma is always never dies. It's always a constant.
The elements never dies. That's what we read in physics. That's what we read in mechanics. Energy is always conserved. It only transforms into one thing to another.
Elements always consist of a particular body, because it's for a particular body. I believe if anybody will die, then with that particular body, it will also the internal body also elements also die with them, and it will go to the next birth, I believe.
No. Very simple answer.
Because we have Jivatma has consciousness.
Very good. One good loud Haribol for Anu Silka. One loud Haribol. Yeah, this bullseye. Yeah, I was waiting for this. Yes. So there are 2 Prakritis. So there is 2 Prakritis. Now this is the 8 elements wala Prakriti. That is our material Prakriti, what we see around. And then there is the Jivatma. Now the difference is, this is also eternal. And this is also eternal. We read in science, what we read, that's what Bhagavad Gita says, Krishna says. Whatever we read in science, Krishna also says the same thing. Science has come only from Krishna only. So what we read, that energy is always conserved. It is never destroyed. Have you read in this? Energy is never created but destroyed. Yes, Nirakar, you are scientist, correct? I am telling correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. So, it's not that the 8 elements are not eternal. The 8 elements are also eternal, and that's what the scientists have found out. That everything is eternal. So similarly, Jivatma is eternal. But what is the difference? Why Jivatma is superior? Because it has consciousness. It's sentient. It can feel, it can will, it can think. But it is non-sentient. You are able to understand sentient or consciousness? And that is how the Jivatma is controlling the elements. Okay? So how it is superior? It is superior. You need to tell him. His sound is coming. So call him. So it is superior because it is having consciousness. And it is inferior because it having no consciousness. This apple pencil, no consciousness. But I have consciousness. Now I can say I am this body. Actually, the body is not the source of consciousness. The soul is the source of consciousness. Right? So now the question is, why the Atma is trying to control? So why the Atma is trying to control? What is the reason why the Atma is trying to control? Right? And how it controls. So we will discuss first how and what means it controls. Then in the end, we will discuss why it controls. Okay? Okay. So first we have to understand that we will now discuss about little bit about the Jiva Prakriti. Okay, we will discuss about Jiva Prakriti. We will take one verse first, the next verse. So we are discussing 7.4, 7.5 and now we are discussing 7.6. Etad yonini bhutani. Anyone?
Etad yonini bhutani.
Sarvanityupadharaya.
Sarvanityupadharaya.
Aham Krishnasya Jagata.
Aham Krishnasya Jagata.
Prabhava Pralayastatha.
Prabhava Pralayastatha.
All created beings have their source in these two natures. Of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution. So Krishna is telling, I am the source of the Jiva Prakriti. So this Jiva is also part of God and the 8 elements are also part of God, but the Jiva is sentient part. It is conscious. The 8 elements are not conscious. Now, we need to understand that this world is divided into 2 parts. One is called the material creation and another is called the spiritual creation. So in the spiritual creations, there are jivas and then there is God. There is no material prakriti. There are no 8 elements. This is spiritual creation is God's own abode, home, which is called Vaikuntha, which is called Brindavan, or which is called Mathura or Dwaraka or Puri. This is Bhagwan ka dham. It doesn't have 8 elements. Now, there is sound coming out. You put it in that. So now, there are certain jivas. So the jivatmas and God, they used to stay in spiritual world or together in home, in Vaikuntha or whatever you say. It is called Vaikuntha, it is called Brindavan or whatever. So previously the jivas and God, they used to stay together. But then there are some jivas, they wanted to have something to control. But they cannot control God. See, you can only control those who are under you, correct? You cannot control those who are above you, correct? So now, this God is the fulfiller of desires of the Jivatmas. भगवान हर आत्मा की इच्छाओं को पूर्ण करते हैं. तो कुछ आत्मा, some Jivatmas, they develop a desire that I also want to control. I also want to create. Just like God is creating, I also want to create something. Just like God is controlling, I also want to control. Now the problem is, in spiritual world, they cannot control. In spiritual world, they cannot create. Because in order to control and create, you can only do something which is inferior to you, correct? You cannot do something which is superior. And that is how the material creation is there, which facilitates the desire of some souls to control and create. Simple. I'll give a simple example. Just like sometimes what do you say, mother is there, and the small girl, daughter, wanting to do cooking, and the mother is concerned कि if she goes for cooking, then she may catch fire, correct? Then what the mother will do? Will get a, yes, some mothers, what the mothers generally do? Toy kitchen. So exactly in the same way, God gives a toy world to the Jivatmas to control. Because the Jivatmas want to control something, they want to control something, they want to create something. And they cannot do it in spiritual world. So the material world, the material realm is like a toy kitchen for the Jivas. Now, the Jivatmas, they are designed to live in spiritual realm. But when they come to material realm, just like we are designed to stay in land, but if we want to go into water, we require a particular suit, correct? So exactly in the same way, when the Jivatmas want to come to material world and interact with the material world, the Jivatmas are given this type of body. Just like it is a space suit. You have seen astronauts wearing space suit. Actually, the Jivatma doesn't require. Just like the astronaut, if he is in land, is in earth, will he require any space suit? He will not require, because it's a natural place. But as soon as he goes to moon or space, there will be a space suit required. So exactly in the same way, the Jivatmas, they get this space suit or material suit in order to interact with the material world. It's like an interface. You're able to understand? The Jivatma cannot hold an Apple pencil because it's spirit and this is matter. You're able to understand? This is matter and Atma is spirit. Now how to hold the Apple pencil? Because Jivatma wants to create something called Apple pencil. So Jivatma will get a body like this. And then with that body, he can create Apple pencil. You're able to understand now? It's very simple. Like the Jivatma want to stay in space. Now he cannot stay in space. And in space, they want to create an international space station. Now, but they have to create an international space station. They have to first take a space suit, correct? Exactly in the same way. See space as the material world and earth as spiritual world. Right? So, space is to earth is proportionate to material world is to spiritual world. समझ में आ रहा है? If you consider space as material world and earth as spiritual world, in earth, just like humans, they don't require any suit, but when they go to space, they require suit. Similarly, when the jivas, they are in spiritual world, they are natural. They don't require any body, but as they come to material world, they require a body. Right? Now, the body and the material nature and the spiritual spirit, naturally they are different, correct? Spirit and matter, naturally they are different. तो just like हमको space suit पहनना है, तो there are some adhesive required. Gum समझते हैं ना? Gum, adhesive. You're understanding? Adhesive. When an adhesive is required, imagine I want to, how do I say? Imagine this is my two hands. I want to attach my two hands like this. Then I will put some gum here, I'll put some gum here, and then they'll get attached, correct? Feviquick. Exactly in the same way, the spirit and nature, now the spirit wants to control the nature, and that's why they need to wear a material nature ka space suit. But then the spirit and nature, they don't match only. उनको attach कैसे रखा जाए? And that adhesive is the three modes. You're able to understand now? What are the three modes? ये तीन गुण क्या करते हैं? ये तीन गुण क्या करते हैं? जीवात्मा को इसके अंदर रखते हैं. नहीं तो जीवात्मा दोनों रहेगा ही नहीं. जैसे जल और तेल. You have seen oil and water? They don't mix. Exactly in the same way, आत्मा, भौतिक प्रकृति, जड़ पदार्थ, वो मिक्स होते नहीं है. They are completely different. And in order to keep them together, the adhesive that is required is the three modes. You're able to understand? So why we are under three modes? Because we want to control this world. And whenever we want to give up the control of this world and go back to our original home, that is God's abode, then the three modes will also go away from our life. That is called Gunatit Avastha. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said Gunatita. Gunatita. Atita matlab he has gone above Guna. And Gunatit matlab one who has gone above the Gunas. And why when he will go above the Gunas? When he wants to return to spiritual world. So just like the astronaut, when he comes back to earth, he removes the space suit because it's not required now. So exactly in the same way, when the Jivatma again, when the Jivatma from the material realm returns back to the spiritual world, then it removes the body and happily stays as Atma. Okay. Is this clear? So that is how we are affected by the modes, because we want to control this world. And because we are in this foreign place, the Jivatma is in the foreign place in the material world, that is how the body and the material modes are given to the Jivatma. Right? And the next question is, how then the Jivatma will go back? So
just just one basic question.
yeah.
Suppose Jivatma already with the God, then
Yeah.
why he developed such desire to
Yeah,
come
yeah.
to the material world?
Yeah. So we will discuss this question. This is normal. Everyone asks this same question. So we'll discuss this in next class elaborately because it will require some. This is a nice question. So thank you for your question. This is normal question. Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita in the 8th chapter. Okay, so just let me tell. So how the Jivatma again has to go back or come out of the modes is by doing activities of spiritual world. Again, I'll give an example. So just like sometimes some person gets amnesia. You know what is called amnesia? Forgetting. You know, he meets with an accident and he forgets. So somehow someone gets an amnesia. So then the doctor says that how to get rid of amnesia. Change it. Don't. So how to get rid of amnesia? The doctor says that you take him to such places where he will. Hare Krishna, mute. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So the doctor says you take him to such places which used to be there in previous times. Correct? You make him. You have seen Hindi movies? मैं कौन हूँ, मेरा कौन है, तुम कौन हो, and then the lady, the heroine, takes the hero to those places and they will sing the same song. They will eat the gajar ka halwa which the hero used to like. You know, you have seen that? Okay. So exactly in the same way, the Jivatmas are also forgotten their spiritual existence, their existence in the spiritual world. How they can remember? By again seeing those same things, again participating in the same activities they used to do in spiritual world, and that is basically devotional service. Just like imagine the same movies example, the hero has forgotten his yaddas or the memory, and the heroine starts dancing or singing the same song which the hero used to like. Correct? So exactly in the same way, Krishna comes from the spiritual world and enacts different pastimes to make us remember, oh, मैं भी ऐसे डांस करता था, मैं भी इतना आनंद में रहता था, क्या मैं कर रहा हूं फिर इधर. Correct? So just like there is the entire Leela or the pastime of Krishna, or what we say as avatar. Avatar is like a drama or a movie by Krishna to help the jivas again remember the spiritual world and go back to him. And that's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in the 4th chapter, Janma karma chame divyam. This is 4.9. So we will read this. Okay. We'll go to 4.9. This is Bhagavad Gita. This is 4th chapter. This is 7, 8, 9. Okay. So these are all very famous slokas. All of you know. Okay. We will recite these slokas. Most of you know about these slokas. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata apyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. So Krishna is saying whenever and wherever, yada, whenever, wherever. He, certainly, dharmasya glani, there is glani or there is discrepancies, there is problem in dharma. Bhavati bharata, oh I become manifest, I come as avatar. Apyutthanam adharmasya, and there is adharma there is a lot of adharma. Tadatmanam, at that time, srijamyaham, I descend myself, I come as avatar. Okay, and then what Krishna does as avatar? Two things it does. So, okay, Krishna is telling I come as avatar. So then Krishna is telling I do two things. Paritranaya sadhunam
Paritranaya sadhunam
vinasaya cha duskrita
vinashaya cha dushkritam
dharma samsthapanarthaya
dharma sansthapanarthaya
sambhavami yuge yuge.
sambhavami yuge yuge.
Krishna is telling sambhavami yuge yuge. Sambhava matlab coming again and again. Bhava matlab coming. Yuge yuge. Every yuga I come. क्या करने के लिए? धर्म संस्थापन. I do dharma samsthapana. I establish the religion. Vinasaya cha duskritam. I kill those who are wrong people. I kill them. Paritranaya sadhunam. Those who are sadhus, I give them a lot of encouragement. Okay? And then what it is? Then what will happen by all these things? You see next verse what Krishna is saying. This is what I was talking about, 4.9. Now Krishna is coming as avatar. Krishna is killing the miscreants. Krishna is establishing dharma and he is doing all his leelas. And then Krishna is telling what you see. This is a very important verse. All of you should remember this verse. Janma karma cha me divya.
Janma karma cha me divyam
Evam yo veti tatvata.
yavo vetim tattavata
Tyokta deham punarjanma.
tattvadeham punarjanma
Naiti mameti so Arjuna.
naiti mamati so arjuna.
So Krishna is telling Janma karma chame divyam. Krishna is telling though I also take birth in this world as avatar, but my avatar is divya. My avatar is not like ordinary person is taking birth in this world. Just like we take birth, Krishna doesn't take birth like that. Evam yo veti tatvatah. One who knows. Veti matlab knows. Tatvatah. जो मेरे अवतारों के बारे में जानता है, सुनता है, समझता है. Tyokta deham. After he gives up this body, punar janma naiti, he will not get again janma. Mameti, he will come back to me, to my spiritual abode. Just see how clear it is. That's what I was telling here. So Krishna as avatar comes as and shows this drama and movie. By this drama, Krishna is telling what? You see, we'll read the translation. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, takes his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. So Krishna has his eternal abode and Krishna comes down from his eternal abode, Vrindavan or Vaikuntha, to this world to attract all of us. Like a movie, to make us remember, Are tum kya kar raha hai idhar? Come back, come to my home, enjoy in my home. Don't suffer here in this world. Okay? Now one may say, what is suffering in this world, Prabhu? I am so happy in this world. Why I will go to spiritual world? Can anyone say what is the suffering in this world?
The basic subjects are janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi.
Okay, why janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi is a suffering?
Mrityu, we know it's painful.
Okay, mrityu is painful.
Budhapa, old age is also painful.
Budhapa is old age is painful.
Disease
Disease also is painful. Birth is also painful. But why it is painful? Why these four things are painful? So why Krishna is telling? So you come to my abode. Why you are staying in material world? Come to spiritual world. Because material world is filled with suffering. What is the suffering in this material world?
So everyone is in competition.
Very good. One Hari ball for Nitin. One big Haribol for Nitin. He has got the bullseye answer. That is the problem. That is the problem. Now, what is material world? The basic foundation of what is material world. हर कोई कौन material world में आया है अभी? Syam Narayan, why he has come to material world? To compete, to control. Why Sri Nitai Das has come? To control. Why Nitin has come? To control. Why Anusilka has come? To control. Why Vikram has come? To control. Why Arvind has come? To control. Why Madhur has come? All of us have come to control. Now there is competition. Who will control whom? That is the main reason of suffering. The birth, old age, disease, death, they are not the main reasons of suffering. They are the concomitant factors. I will tell you how birth, old age, disease, death are the concomitant factors. You understand? Concomitant factors? Matlab, this is the conclusion. The real suffering is everyone in this world wants to control. कौन किसको कंट्रोल करेगा? So there is competition. And that competition creates suffering. So much of suffering. And now if I, this time, I am controlling Syam Narayan and Syam Narayan also wants to control Sri Nitai Das, then Sri Nitai Das has to die so that next life Syam Narayan will control me. And that's why death has come. Otherwise, there is no requirement of death. Why death is created? Because Sri Nitai wants to control Syam Narayan wants to control Sri Nitai Das. And Sri Nitai Das is controlling Syam Narayan in one life, and next life, out of his karma, Syam Narayan will control Sri Nitai Das. And that's how things are going on in this world. Why death is there? Why disease is there? Because we are trying to control, and then we have to get back also our reactions. And that's why disease is there. So we need to understand the material world is filled with suffering, not that suffering is created by God. Who has created suffering? We should raise our collars and say, मैंने ही अपने पैर पे कुल्हाड़ी मारा. सब लोग क्या जैसे ही क्या बोलते हैं, दुख क्यों है? भगवान क्यों मेरे को इतना दुख दे रहे हैं? क्यों इतना दुख दे रहे हैं? अरे तुमने दुख पैदा किया है. भगवान का कुछ काम धंधा नहीं है, दुख देंगे तुमको. So anytime any misery comes, immediate reaction of people is, why God is giving me suffering? God has not given us suffering. We have created our own suffering by coming to this world which is filled with suffering. And we have come to a place where everyone, will anyone enter a place where there are, let's say in this room, which is a 100 square feet room where the video recording is happening. In this room, let's say there are 15 wolves. You know wolf? Wolf, not jackal, wolf. Imagine in this room we keep 15 wolves. And Sri Nitai Das comes and gives class in this wolf. What will happen to Sri Nitai Das? All of you know what will happen. And after that happens, Sri Nitai Das blames God. कि अरे देखो भगवान ने मेरे को कितना कष्ट दिया, उल्फ लोग मेरे को काट लिए, मेरा ऐसा हो गया, वो हो गया. अरे why did you enter this world? Why did you enter this room? It is written already in big letters inside this room there are 15 wolves. Be careful. And still you entered this room. So who will not have problem? So the world is suffering because everyone is trying to control, and there is a competition of who will control whom. And in order to manage that competition, there is birth, old age, disease, death. Because it has to be managed properly. There has to be justice. So birth, old age, disease, and death, they are not real suffering. They are actually justice system or the karma system in order to control who will control whom at what time. That's it. In this life, I will control Vikram and try to exploit him and show him how I am, then there has to be justice. And for justice to happen, Sri Nitai Das has to die, Vikram has to die, and then Vikram will get another body which is higher body. Vikram will be wealthy and Sri Nitai Das will be a beggar employee under Vikram, and then Vikram will control Sri Nitai Das next life. But if Sri Nitai Das doesn't die, Vikram doesn't die, then how justice will happen? Then whole time Sri Nitai Das will control Vikram. That is how this birth, old age, disease, death is there. But they are not the cause of suffering. They are created just to balance, just to create justice. If birth, old age, disease, death goes away, then justice will go away from this world. Then Sri Nitai Das will keep on exploiting Vikram, and there is no way for Vikram to do anything. Then what Prakriti does? Vikram को मार देता है, श्री निताई दास को मार देता है, फिर विक्रम को एक जगह पैदा करता है, फिर श्री निताई दास को भी एक जगह पैदा करता है. Now Vikram becomes the boss next life and Sri Nitai Das the employee. Like that. You're able to understand? So the main reason for all of us suffering is we all want to control. But in spiritual world, as next class we'll read more about spiritual world. What is the attitude of the spiritual world? How it is our original home? How you used to live in spiritual world? And how we have come to the material world? And how we are suffering in this material world. This is what we will discuss next class. Okay? So this next class will discuss on the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Akshara Brahma Yoga, about spiritual world. Krishna speaks about spiritual world, his abode, in the 8th chapter. Okay? So we discussed today from 7th chapter. So what all things we'll discuss, little bit we'll do revision. We'll discuss how Krishna is telling in the 7th chapter that there are two Prakriti. There is one inferior Prakriti, then there is one superior Prakriti. The inferior, what is meaning of Prakriti? We define Prakriti means nature, which comes out, personality. So the inferior Prakriti is made of the 8 elements and the superior Prakriti is made of the Jivatmas. And why the Jivatmas are superior? Because they are controlling. They can control the inferior. Now how can the Jivatmas control? Why they are superior? Because they are sentient. So the Jivatmas, well, I wrote the word sentient. Okay, so the two Prakritis, there is elements and the Jiva. And the Jiva is sentient, conscious, and 8 elements are not conscious. But both are eternal. We should not think that the matter is not eternal. Matter is also eternal. That's what science says. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. So the Jiva Prakriti is a part of God. It used to stay in the spiritual world, Krishna's own abode, and now it has come to material world. Now, just like when you want to control, whom you can control? You can only control someone under you. You cannot control someone over you. So when the Jivatmas want to control, they come to this world because what is under them is this material world. God is above. So they cannot control God. So they have to come to material world and control and create a toy kitchen. Then God gives this material world the toy kitchen. So Jivatmas are designed to live in spiritual realm, and when they come to material realm, just like an astronaut goes out of earth, he requires a space suit. So we have also got this space suit to interact with this world, to control this world. अगर ये शरीर नहीं रहेगा तो हम इस दुनिया को कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं? Can we run a car? Can we drive a car if we don't have a body? We cannot drive a car. We cannot drink tea. We cannot do whatever we want to do. Eat, food, drink, whatever we are doing, we cannot do. So this body is it's a way to interact with this world. Just like for the astronauts to create an international space station in the space, they first require an space suit. Exactly in the same way, for us to create anything in this material world, we require a material suit, which is like a body. Now, problem is the spirit and the matter. So, Haribol, but the problem is there is spirit and the matter. And the spirit and the matter, the spirit and matter do not stick to each other. And because the spirit and matter do not stick to each other, that's why there is a requirement of adhesive, and the three modes are the adhesive. And when we do devotional service, we discussed that the avatar, when Krishna comes down, he does a drama to make us remember about spiritual world so that we can go. And we discussed also this verse 4.9, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya, and also the verse how Krishna says, by understanding about his activities, we go back to spiritual world. And then we discussed about in the last that why the material world is filled with suffering, because everyone wants to control each other. And because everyone wants to control, there has to be a justice system. In order to create a justice system, the birth, old age, disease, death is created, karma is created. Okay? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yes. So, any question? Yeah, so there is one question someone was asking. I think Arvind ji was asking. So, we will discuss that question in next class. Next class elaborately we will discuss on that question which Arvind was asking. Why we fear in spiritual world? Why we came to material world? Yeah. Anyone else?
Prabhuji, so who are the angels? We all have heard about the angels also. Do they have soul?
Yeah. So angels are people who live in heavenly planets. So heavenly planets is also like Earth. It is a better facility. Just like in Earth also, there is one can stay in a 1 BHK flat. One can stay in a bungalow. So heavenly planets are bungalows in material world only. It is not in spiritual world. The devatas or the angels are also in material world, but they are more having goodness. In Earth, those who stay in Earth, so there are three realms. We say Tribhuvan. If you have heard the word Tribhuvan, no? Tribhuvan? You have not heard Tribhuvan? There is one name called Tribhuvaneshwara. Tribhuvan. Tri matlab three. Three. So there is Tribhuvan. There is earthly planetary system. There is heavenly planetary system, which is called Swarga. And then there is the lower planetary system, which are the Patalas. So there are total 14 gradations of planets in the material realm. This is material world only. This is material universe. One universe. So there are 14 gradations. So the 7th one is the Earth, which is earthly planet. Below there are 7 lower planets. Tal, Bital, Atal, Sutal, Talatal, Mahatal, Patal. 7 lower planets. And then there are 6 higher planetary system. Swarga, then there is Swargaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Maharloka, Satyaloka. So there are 6 higher, 7 lower, and Earth is middle. Now these, as you go higher, the SRT combination, as you said, S increases, R reduces, T reduces. And as you go lower, R increases, T increases. The lowest planet are filled with those living entities which are in full tamagun. And highest planet like Satyaloka, Brahma's Loka, are filled with living entities who have fully Sattvagun. They have no Raja, no Tama, but they have only Sattva. And the gradation of the planets are like that. जो जिस SRT में है, उसके लिए एक स्थान भी दिया गया है. You are able to understand? Swargalok are filled with people who are predominantly in Sattvagun, and that's why they are called angels. Angels means they have a lot of Sattva, but they are not in spiritual world. They are also part of material world only. And Sattvagun is also a binding. It is a guna. It binds us. It is not a liberated state. It is not mukti state. Okay, Sattva is also a binding factor. Is this clear? So we will discuss more on this in the next class about how our universe is there, the structure of our universe, and the structure of our creation. We will discuss this next class. It will be very interesting, the next class. And it will be very scientific, how the structure is there, where is different planets, where is sun, where is moon, where is the Mount Meru, how the sun is moving, where is earth. So we will discuss all those things in next class. There you will get clear where the devatas are staying. There is in the center of the universe, there is a inverted golden mountain called Meru. And above the golden mountain, there is all the devatas ka residential quarters of the devatas. It's made of golden mountain. And in that, Chandra, Surya, Yama, all people, they stay there. Okay? Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
Yes, so we were talking about consciousness, and the jivatmas are able to control because they are sentient and they have consciousness. So what is this consciousness and how?
Okay, so we already discussed about consciousness. The consciousness is thinking, feeling, and willing. Thinking, feeling, and willing. The matter cannot think, cannot feel, cannot will. The Jivatmas can think, feel, and will. That's it. You're able to understand?
Yes, so I think we discussed in this.
Yeah. So willing, thinking, feeling, that matter cannot do, cannot feel. Like if I isko dabaunga main, nothing is happening. Isko phenk dunga, nothing will happen. It will not feel anything. So we feel. So that's what is consciousness. Yes? Okay. Yes. Anyone else? Okay. Shall we end? Yeah.
Only one thing. So last class we discussed that whatever presentations you are presenting will be given it to the audience like us.
Yeah. So I have forgotten it. I was busy with my book thing. So I will make it today and put it in PDF. And also these notes also which I am writing now, this also I will export it. I hope there is export option and I'll export and send it. Okay? Okay, okay. Hare Krishna. And plus certificates, Bhisma will make today and send all of you. That is also pending. Hare Krishna. Yes. Is there any question? Santi ji, you have a question?
I have a question.
Yeah.
How this SRM have made, I think, because all these Jivatma, initially this material were have been created. So they should be, how this SRM has been decided.
Yeah. So I understood. So this is also same question with Arvind's question. The Jivatma spiritual world से material world आया, तब तो कुछ SRT नहीं था उसका, तो कैसे वो SRT बना फिर? Yeah, it's a nice question. So we will discuss this next class. Spiritual world कैसा है, material world कैसा है, कैसे जीवात्मा आया, ठीक है, and कैसे contaminate हो गया, SRT कैसे मिल गया उसको, ठीक है. So we will discuss that. That is also there. Yeah, it's a question linked with Arvind's question कि आध्यात्मिक जगत में था तो क्यों उसको ऐसे इच्छा हुआ, क्यों हुआ, कैसे हुआ. Okay. Yeah. Yes, Santi ji, you have some question?
Namaste, Prabhuji.
Hare bol.
The same two questions I also have. Why Jivatma came down and after coming here, how it got contaminated?
Yeah.
That two questions. And then currently, as we are following all this, how to maintain, Sattva Guna at maximum. We are trying to do all you told, but still we are getting contaminated on a day-to-day basis. This ratio is drastically changing. How to maintain it in a decent portion of Sattva? Any small tip?
So we will discuss this exactly in the next class. So this will help you to come for the next class and try to read whatever we have discussed in previous classes. Okay? So we'll discuss this. This is Hare Bol, Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita advanced students ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol, Hare Krishna.